Welcome again to Razorpay Curlec Exchange. I'm your host, Kevin, country head of Razorpay Curlec. This series where we go behind the scenes with the leaders, builders, and high-frequency thinkers shaping the future of the Malaysian economy. Our guest today is a recovering banker who took 20 years of traditional expertise and used it to build something entirely from scratch. Pei Si Lai is the group CEO of GXS Bank and the founding force behind GXBank, Malaysia's very first digital bank. While most would have spent months planning a transition, Pei Si famously made the leap into fintech in just 3 days. Today, she oversees a regional digital banking powerhouse that hit 1 million users in record time, proving that the future of trust in Malaysia is being rewritten as we speak. Pei Si, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Lovely to have you with us, and I think the last time we met was some time back, probably about 2 years back.
It has been that long.
And I think things has changed a lot as well
It
with
has.
yourself, with the bank, and what is it going on, right? We'll talk more about that later.
Yep.
So, I mean, everyone knows you as today as a group CEO of GXS Bank.
Right.
And today, GXS Bank also have got two businesses, which is your bank in Singapore and GX in Malaysia as
That's
well,
right.
But not many people know you as a person.
Right.
I don't think many people know you. Right? Tell us more about you, about your background. Where do you come from, and from there, yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, I've been a banker actually all my life. So well, actually all my life. So now it's been like more than 30 years already.
In just banking alone.
Yeah, just
Wow.
banking alone.
Okay.
So and my first job was in a bank actually. So really, literally actually all my life. So 23, 24 years actually international bank with Standard Chartered. So and a call came in 2021, right? After so many years actually in Standard Chartered, somebody called me and said, "Hey, would you like to start a bank?" Right? And really at the point in time, after 20 over years actually in international bank, done all kinds of different things, it became actually quite almost like an irresistible call,
Okay.
right? To have an opportunity to lead, to drive, and to build a bank from scratch, to really actually build from a almost like a blank piece of paper to set up your own team,
Okay.
right? And in a country like Malaysia, right? And I've said this before actually in some of my other interviews. It didn't take me too long to really actually make that decision to jump ship, like I would say.
Okay.
But after almost 2 decades actually, and a very comfortable and somewhere that I know very very well, actually to a place that you completely don't know how to start and how do you start and actually how to make it work. But it's been an incredible journey actually since then. So now I've been almost 5 years,
Okay.
for half years actually in joining the GXS group. But certainly I was the pioneer CEO actually for GXBank here, first employee. Right, started the bank. And so last year, June last year, I was asked to then actually lead the group. So now our group has Singapore, right, like you said earlier, as well as Malaysia.
So being in a bank for so many years, right? You were saying, how is it like moving, from a people say a traditional bank, right? Moving into a digital startup environment where you have to do things much faster, more nimble, and everything is fast, fast, fast. How is that easy change for you from mental wise, emotionally wise? Was that an easy change?
It wasn't an easy change, but the thing is, to be a banker, you do need to know your 101. So being able to transition actually from a traditional bank whereby, in my case, because I had spent more than 20 years, right? Actually just honing up and actually learning actually what banking is about really does help actually in making sure that when you move to a new environment, right, you'll be able to bring the same banking 101 skills and knowledge that is needed because a bank is going to be always an institution that is a regulated entity. So those skills that you bring and the knowledge that you bring, it's just a necessary, I think, hygiene and foundation to actually start a bank. Where it's actually different is that when in a commercial in a traditional bank, fact is that you sit actually on a legacy of many different procedures and policies,
Infrastructure as well.
infrastructure
Yeah.
that's built actually over the years,
Yep.
and culture that's actually built over the years. So when you go to an international, when you go to a traditional bank or a bank that has loads of actually history, what that means is that you sit actually really actually on the shoulders on what has been built actually over the years. So you continue with the legacy, you continue to manage the change, you continue to respond actually to the market, right? On a bed of foundation that's already been built. Going to a startup place because it is blank piece of paper, because there's nothing there. Then you have the added, I think both responsibility as well as privilege to be able to actually start today on the basis of the knowledge that you have,
Yeah.
but also actually with today's technology, today's ways of working, today's technology.
And for you to define things as well moving forward, right? That you can define new things as well.
Absolutely. And because you don't have the baggage of the
Yeah.
legacy that you need to bring with you, it therefore actually provides that space for us to really actually design upfront what you want to see actually for the next couple of years and actually longer. Like we always tell actually anybody who joins the bank, especially in the beginning, even now, right? That what you really want to be is after 10 years, you look back and say, number one, we started the bank together. Number two, we are so proud of what we've actually set up. Number three is that you have actually built a foundation actually for that bank to be able to also respond to changes that will always come actually when you deal with any external markets. And that's actually what it should be. So in that way, it's same because it's the same industry, but it's completely different because you have the privilege to be able to define and design and also actually almost define what you want the future to be.
So you grew up as the daughter of a school teacher
Yes.
in
yes.
a small town. Which town
No,
is that?
actually, I was a small town, but my mom taught in a very small town.
Okay.
At this little town called Tampoi, actually in Johor.
Okay.
So she's a primary school teacher, I think in an environment and community that are not that's not too wealthy. Right? So I remember actually her school was actually next to a market.
Okay.
Right? Like a wet market. So you imagine the pupils that she have actually in her school. Yeah, so yes, I'm a daughter of a school teacher.
And you were in Johor for many years?
For many years, though family came from Ipoh, but I
Oh, so
practically
Ipoh,
grew up.
then you moved.
Yeah, that I practically grew up actually in
Okay.
Johor Bahru.
Okay.
So yeah, so that was what it was, and
Did you finish your schooling in Johor?
I did. I finished my SPM.
Okay.
In Malaysia, in Johor, and then I went on to Singapore to do my pre-university, and I finished my university in Singapore. So from then on, I studied, and then I worked, and then I stayed, and I got married. Right. Actually, in
Okay,
Singapore.
okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, so we understand that about in Johor, that you were staying there, and so your home was always full with foster children as well, right? So how when you look back, where those days where you always look at how do you share resources, and today you look at financial inclusion. How would you look back and relate back at those days in Johor in younger days?
Maybe I give a little bit of context and background. Like I said, my mother was a school teacher.
Okay.
And she taught in a community that's not too wealthy.
Right.
So in many cases, her pupils are from less privileged type of background. So over those years, like I say, yeah, there are always children actually in our home because my mom, when she saw actually some of her pupils actually having some difficulties at home, She tends to bring them home and they stay
Wow.
with us.
Oh.
So that's why they are fostered actually through our family. So to your point, therefore, actually, I was growing up. Whilst I came from a family of three other siblings, so there's four of us. But they were always other children
Okay.
whom are actually in our home.
Okay.
So yes, so from a very young age, what we saw was that one, right? Because now you're in a family where there are quite a number of children at home.
How at one point of time, I mean, how many kids were there?
Maybe at most it's probably three other children, so
Okay.
like maybe seven of us actually
Okay.
home,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And we then learned that in a place where there are so many young folks, and you do need to learn to share.
Yeah.
And the second, I think, probably more and a more important realization as we live together, and I think especially when I started growing up, is that you get an appreciation that sometimes when you give help, in this case, my
Yep.
mom actually giving help actually to her pupils, for them to stay with us for a certain period of time, and to actually give care actually to that in that even that very short period was never very very long, right? Makes a lot of difference actually in building the foundation for them to succeed in life,
I'm sure.
right? And being able to ensure that in the right environment where education is actually being supported, right, means it's actually a good step to be able to change and make the next generation that is successful. So that's also actually the reason, Hovin, as even as we think about what kind of activities that we want to do for the community as we set up the bank. One of the first thing that we did actually in GXBank was to start a scholarship program.
Oh,
We have
okay.
a scholarship program for undergrads who have from potentially less privileged background, and to support them actually through university and actually their lifestyle, their
Wow.
livelihood actually during that period of time.
Okay.
So as of now, we are already actually our third edition. So we already have 18 of them today taking in scholarship actually from GXBank. And in fact, now we are actually on our way out looking for another 10 this year,
Oh.
right? To be able to support through that process. So really, I think part of it is influenced from what I saw actually as I was growing up, what I know, and now, of course, appreciated by everybody that education is important, be able to support folks actually throughout a period of time so they can actually cross over actually that certain period of difficulty makes a lot of difference when to 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 change a person's life and to impact, right?
The word is
And
impact.
yes,
Yeah.
so it's about creating impact, right? So that's what we hope to do actually in I suppose the work we do today, the
Okay.
lives I'm trying to myself as well as lead, and to probably role model for my own children as well.
I think in some of your sessions, you have mentioned a simple 3 ringgit notebook
Okay.
as a
Well, that's a
symbol
long time
of
ago. Yes.
financial discipline. Share with us what's about this 3 ringgit notebook that you speak about.
Okay. Well, that's a kind of a long story. I don't know how to talk about it. Okay. Okay. I have a habit of well, I suppose because I work as part of GX Bank,
Right.
GXS,
By the way,
and
do you still have that 3 ringgit notebook today?
it's not my 3 ringgit robot, so it's a little bit that story. That's a little bit different. It's not my
Okay.
3 ringgit
Okay.
notebook, but because I work at part of GXS, so therefore, of course, my shareholders are really our parents are really the Grab as well as Singtel and some other local shareholders. So therefore, I take Grab all the time. Okay, whenever I take Grab, I always make a habit to talk to all the Grab drivers.
Okay.
Okay, just to see how they are, what problems they may have, and then so on and so forth. So this was a story that I really I remember so well. It was like towards when I first joined Grab. That was probably around 4 years ago. I took a Grab, and it was this old rickety car came. Okay, Grab driver, lady driver, right? And then she halfway actually through the ride, she went like, ma'am, I will need to pump petrol, right? Pump petrol. And then can you wait a little while? Like, I need to pump petrol. And she went to pump petrol. she pumped like a mere 5 ringgit. Single, then mere 5 ringgit, that's all she did.
5 ringgit.
Only 5 ringgit.
Okay.
Because that's all she could afford.
Okay.
That's all she could afford.
Okay.
Right? And 5 ringgit is nothing, right? It's a cup of coffee.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
That's all she could afford. So then I then started talking to her. So I realized, number one, she's a single mother. She has a young daughter that's 8, 9 years old. So I asked her, so how's life? How was it like actually driving? Why do you drive now? Why you not do something else? Because obviously she's not making great living, right? So she said, one, I'm a single mother, so I like the fact that I've got flexibility actually in the time that I have so that I can take care of my children. In my case, she went like, I only got one child, and that's my daughter. With my daughter, I give her 2 ringgit a day, right? So that she can eat her lunch and then she buys something from the canteen, right? But, my daughter don't eat at all. She saves the money and she put in a pocket. She doesn't do that. And I get very angry. She went like that, I get very angry. Then you know what happened, ma'am? Just the other day, I saw her save all her money to actually buy this. It's not 3 ringgit, it's 5 ringgit actually, like a pink little like Hello Kitty type of notebook.
Okay.
Right? And then she went like, I wasn't happy because she was saving all her money to actually buy this small little pink notebook. So I asked why. Then she was like, because all my friends have it, I don't have it, right? Actually, really at the point, then I realized this, right? That 5 ringgit, 3 ringgit is nothing actually to any one of us, right? It's really nothing, right? And this mother who could only afford actually 2 ringgit a day to actually give to the child, and the child had to save it so that it can buy actually another 5 ringgit actual notebook, right? So she can keep up with her friends with a small 5 ringgit notebook. It's then you realize actually at that point, oh my goodness, there's so many people that are actually so much less privileged than any one of us, and sometimes we complain about so many things. That how do we actually help these young people who obviously, in this case, the single mother wants to make sure that the daughter actually does well in life, wants for her to be able to keep up, but yet just that 5 ringgit, she's like, oh my goodness, why is my daughter not able to why is she saving it just for that? The small little unimportant thing, but it's important, right?
Yep. 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 Yep.
So therefore, actually, I mean, that's why it's so privileged to be in a position that I'm in. That I actually post that release story and many many others. We have things like bursaries now, where bursaries actually the bank that we give up to now. We give to 1,700 students of very of less privileged background, so they can take that couple of hundred ringgit actually a year. To actually buy things that is not so much necessarily so core. It could be a new uniform.
Simple
it could
things.
be textbooks. It could be their bottles, right? That it's not necessarily core to what they need it actually for their school. But it's really almost a symbol of that 5 ringgit notebook,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
That you
yeah.
really want, actually as a child, that for my children, they get multiples of 5 ringgit every day.
Yes. Yes.
Right? So that's the thing so it does to be in a position to be able to design things and to galvanize actually our team to create impact actually for the people, the things that is important in the community that we do business in. It's so meaningful, no? Right?
Yep.
Beyond making money, right? So
Yep,
that's
yep.
actually what it is. So yeah, that's a 5 ringgit story.
Okay. Going back to earlier on that you mentioned that
Yeah.
you were 20 years in the bank, right?
Oh, now 30 already, so
or
I feel
30
a
years.
little bit old. Yeah, but yes.
I mean, for that long in the bank,
Yes, that's right.
was it a difficult thing for you to say that, okay, let's move on to something different, or was it a decision that took you a long time? Did you have to think through a lot, talk to many people before you decide to go into a new adventure at that point of time?
No, actually, I mean, you mean moving actually from the
From bank,
from bank
the
to a startup bank, is
correct,
it?
correct, correct, correct.
Actually, not really. I mean, sometimes it's funny, right? It's right time, right place,
Yeah,
right? And whether you're right frame of mind.
correct.
I've got now actually, I mean, by 2021, when I did a move, I already had like kids that are very big, right? Now my oldest is already 24 years old, right? So they were actually 19 at that point in time.
So it's also a right opportunity
It's
at the right
it's the
time.
right time, right opportunity,
Yeah,
because the fact is, I mean, I suppose all of us who actually work in our career, your life, your family life, or how you want your life to be, actually is like almost it's not never a straight line.
Yep.
There'll be times where you need to spend more time actually with to take care of the
Yep,
family.
yep,
There are other times where you can afford to actually focus on your career.
yep.
There are other times that you say, oh, it's time to actually focus on myself. The other times where you say that that part of my career is not done yet. I want to hit a certain milestone before I go. So in that way, right time, right place, right opportunity, right excitement. Because especially in place like Malaysia, the last digital bank, a bank license was ever given was probably 20 more than 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So if you don't pick it up now, I'll probably be too old to pick it up later.
It's a lifetime opportunity as
It's a
well,
lifetime
right? I
opportunity.
mean, things
So
like this doesn't
absolutely.
happen every other year or
Correct.
every other decade,
Correct.
right?
Correct. So in this case, not in like the last 2 decades, right? So right opportunity came, right time. So it really only took me a couple of days
Okay,
to make the
okay.
decision. And I'm also one whom once you make a decision, you just go plow it actually all right in.
Just
So I'm a
move forward and go
move
on.
forward and go. So I'm generally a quick decision maker. So I just
Mm.
go, right? And then just make it work and try to make it work.
Okay, okay. I mean, so we hear a lot of people talking about acquiring new skills, learning new skills. You are one of those that talk about unlearning,
Yes.
which not many people talk about, right? So with you moving over from a what I call a traditional bank, right, into a digital startup environment, were there certain things that you had to unlearn and so that you could move into a different environment? How is that how was that journey?
Actually, there are many things that I needed to make sure that I keep it at the back of my mind. The first, because I came from a place that I had more than 20 over years actually in a banking industry, and we were actually moving in to start another new bank. And when we actually start a new bank, what it really means is that you're a new player actually in a very crowded space. And to then understand that you cannot, first you have to first remember you can't do the same thing like you actually done before, because you're no longer actually in that old traditional legacy that you have been, where you have loads of customers who've already been with you for many years and you've been able to already make their monies. So for us to, number one, realize that to compete actually in a space that is already actually quite full, you need to find new ways of working, find a differentiation. And for you to do that means, number one, you cannot do the same thing that you have actually done previously. So three big things actually when I first started actually moving into the space, and also realizing what are things that you need to unlearn. The first is that you need to unlearn that the previous thing of when you know things have worked, because I have 20 over years experience, right? You always think what you think is correct. So first,
Yeah.
actually, always actually question is the if what you were doing before is should it always actually be done the same way, and it shouldn't,
Makes sense.
because otherwise you can't compete, right?
Yeah.
Number two is that in the new world that we are in, I wasn't working with bankers that's been here for a long time. We're really actually working with a group of very diverse, and that was deliberate, diverse group of folks that team members who are trying to actually make an impact actually to where we are. So be comprising of bankers, obviously, but it also actually comprises of technologists. It comprises of folks from everywhere and different type of background. So the second really is to be able to learn to actually listen to different point of view and be very actually open actually to it. And third is that that is a trait that's probably peculiar to me. I'm kind of control freak. I like details. I like to see actually how that works, right? All the time.
Thorough lah, very thorough.
Okay, that's a nice way to put
Thorough
it.
sounds like a better word.
That's a lovely way for you to put it. But I tend to like to control, right? And the fact is that you almost actually need to, in my case, unlearn actually how to really empower, right? Especially for areas that you do not necessarily understand, right? To be able to actually to create that trust, right? That's there. So it's really about I think unlearning all the things that I took for granted that would work and giving it actually that trust and the empowerment actually to our team to be able to potentially actually make that the difference actually in the product that we do, the business that we want to run, because actually ultimately, right? You're never actually the cleverest in the room.
Fair?
That's
Agree?
also something I needed to unlearn after many years. You're never the cleverest, and it's truly so. Actually, I am never the cleverest in the room. It's actually when we come together as a team, is when we're able to really actually make the difference.
No, I think that's something that is so true because sometimes when we think that we've been here long enough, right?
Yes.
It's like, for example, you have been in banking for so long, and I've been in payments for a certain period of time, right? Sometimes we always have this thinking that whatever that we say is always true. Whatever that other people say is that sure or not, because we've been here for so long. I think that's something that we need to also unlearn because things are also moving so fast,
Absolutely.
right? And
Absolutely.
also the people that we worked with has also evolved, right? People, the young people that we work with have got different characteristics as well. And that leads me to something that I want to ask you is that, has your leadership changed as well? When you moved, from working in a bank and now in a digital, in a startup environment, has your leadership changed or it's still the same?
Mm, I don't think leadership has changed. Just
Or the style
that
of leadership? Yeah.
no, but I suppose your style of leadership will have to respond to the the outcome that you want to actually get to and the team that you're with, right? And in my years of banking and leading teams, I've been extremely lucky that we've been able to lead very, very diverse teams, whether it's across markets, and therefore actually different ways of actually working, right? And what I find that is consistent actually across and is necessary is that you do have to respect that everybody actually tries to do the best that they can actually do, right? In their everyday work. Number two is that your as in the leader success is only a is only actually made possible by the success of your team members.
Agree.
So the work of actually a leader or stroke manager is to as in the first instance is to be enable actually your team members to be successful. And once you actually take that position, your leadership, your style would actually evolve with how do you want your team to be as successful as they actually want to be. So I think that's consistent regardless of whether it is in a place that is more traditional,
Different
like a
environment
bank,
lah.
or actually a startup or any environment. So that's actually number one. Number two is that I think leadership is, to some extent, to a large extent, it has to be earned.
I agree.
Yeah, it has to be earned. So if you are sincere actually in treating actually your team members, like I say, for them to be successful, for the agenda to be achieved actually in the most objective way, right? You'll be able to shine through. The third is that leadership is also about being very clear,
Clarity.
clarity on how you want to build your teams or the businesses that you are leading actually to the next stage. And to have clarity means that you do need to know the business.
Okay.
You do need to know business. You need to be hands on. You need to know what's going on. You need to then actually take that sometimes a courageous view, right? But always actually with clarity on what you want to bring the next team to, and that plan and that direction has to be very clear in your head, right? And that's, I think, is also a consistent necessary trait that I try to make sure regardless of where I am. Because without the clarity, you can't lead, right?
Without clarity, you won't be able to bring, you know, people forward with
In
the
the
same
same
direction,
direction.
same direction.
Correct,
And
correct.
and I always say this. I say, it's not about whether the direction is right or wrong,
You will know until you get there.
but it's
Yes.
always the same direction.
Yes. And that's probably the hardest thing, I think, in leading any businesses, whether it's big or small. It's about how do you create a purpose that is aligned to everyone? How do you bring everybody to your point to the same direction without distraction of noise, right? Because when one is clear on where we will need to go together, you always do much better. So the business that we are in, I think, in any business, whether is it something that's very hard or soft, it's always about how do you drive and bring people together, right? To get something delivered. So it's always a journey. I think I'm still learning how to be a leader. Yeah.
Speaking about building teams that you mentioned,
Yep.
was it hard to get people to join you? I mean, when you joined GXBank and setting up a team, how was it like? To convince people to say that, hey, leave your job that you've been there for 15 years, for example, and join me. What was that process and feeling like?
Um, See, the good thing about doing something that is so completely different from the rest of the companies are, is that you typically, number one, only get people who needs to be interested to talk to you. People who got interest to talk to you are already one, especially if they're startup place, right? Is that I'm willing to take chances. You always get that ready. You already actually have people who are already naturally say, I'm not afraid of hard work,
Okay.
right? So you already get actually a right type profile of right profile of
People,
candidates.
the DNA, like this is what you call the DNA.
Yes,
Yeah.
candidates who already actually quite interested.
Okay.
All right. Then the question will then be, how do you then attract these people and say, what for this startup actually versus the other startup?
And
Because in our case, we had quite a number of startup coming at the same time.
there's a lot of very
Yes.
sexy startup
Yes,
as well.
that's right. That's right. Then it's about I suppose really enthusing actually all of them actually with the purpose of what the organization is,
Okay.
right? And the ability to create that impact that aligns actually to the purpose that they can align with. So in the world of like GXBank or GXS, we joining actually a startup bank is so much less comfortable than actually continuing in a bank that they're already in for many years, right? But those who are raising their hand are already, I'm not afraid of hard work. I love to actually do something different. I want to create actually impact. Then what we then tell them, would you like to join us? Is because what we really want to do is create impact actually for the underserved segment, today they are not served actually by the other community, the other institutions, and being able to create impact for the community they're in with the technology of today. Right? So, in other words, actually, Kelvin, is that I didn't find it so difficult to actually find the right people.
I
We
think
could always enthuse them to actually join. Then the question is, how do we keep them actually after?
retain them lah.
Yes, how do we keep them after to always be enthused to actually say, yeah, this is actually what we want to do because the work is so hard, right? But it's so impactful, isn't it? You can start a bank, you can create actually new products, you can see to needs that probably other places are not yet to see. Hopefully, create innovative product as you go, and make a difference to that young single mother whom are now actually supporting that child. Isn't it? Isn't it so meaningful? And if folks are able to align to that purpose and that thinking, these are the ones that we want. Those who do not want, cannot align to that purpose, is also not going to be a necessarily actually a good person to actually join the bank because life is too hard.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have launched GXBank in Malaysia,
Yes.
the first digital bank,
Yep.
September
September
2023.
2023. Yes.
September 2023.
Yep.
What was that feeling like, say, 3 months before that, running up to September 2023? What were those key things that you were focusing on, that you were busy with day to day, running up to September 2023 when you launched that on day one?
Because I suppose the context actually to the audience as well. When we were actually one of five banks who were actually given a license to actually start a bank, and because all of us actually start the bank actually from a zero platform.
Yep.
Right? So what that means is that we had to, prior to actually giving a license to actually start a bank, we had to ensure that one, we actually build actually the foundation with the right system as well as infrastructure to be able to support actually banking customers or banking business. So that's actually number one. Number two is that because we're all new, it also means that we needed to make sure that we introduce ourselves actually to the world. Please trust us, right? We are regulated actually by the regulator,
Yep.
right? And for them to say, now I'm happy to open an account with you. I hope you have an account with us, right? Open an account with you and be able to entrust some of my monies actually with
Yep.
you,
Yep.
right? And so therefore, actually, our many months before we got our license finally with the first bank, September 23, when we got our letter actually from Bank Negara to say we can actually start, we were really actually busy making sure that the infrastructure that we set up works, is able to support scale that we expect. And I'll tell you the scale in a short while. We needed to make sure that we go out with enough of our brand
Right.
to say that users now, customers now, you can now open an account with us. And that's really it, right? So we were just really busy making sure that we earn the right from Bank Negara. We earn the right actually from our would-be customers. We earn the right actually from an industry that we are now in, but the youngest player at that point in time, to say that we have earned a place to get a seat on the table, right? And that's really actually what we were doing. When actually at that point.
Was trust something that was hard to get from new users? Again, I'm thinking, if we talk about underserved, right? Say the B40, the auntie uncle, that is selling goreng pisang, right? And I think essentially those are the segment that you want to be able to be inclusive, right?
Right.
Was there a challenge to gain trust and to tell them that, hey, this is it's a bank and it's a licensed bank, so don't be afraid about putting your money, and to them is that we're not talking about 20,000 ringgit. To them, 2,000 ringgit is hard-earned money from selling, a month's worth of goreng pisang. So was that a challenge, or you have managed to mitigate that?
it was always actually something that we knew that given that we're setting actually a new bank actually after 20 years industry in a place like Malaysia, it'd be very difficult to go out and say, I'm actually a bank, so please trust us, right? So, but a few things actually worked in our advantage. The first is that we're actually operating actually in Malaysia, where Bank Negara themselves are very well respected in the industry. So the fact that we're regulated actually by Bank Negara means that any institution has passed the test, because that's what it was, right? Where we go up means you pass the test actually with Bank Negara, means that you're actually of a certain standards and of certain confidence actually for BNM to be able to provide that. So that already goes a very, very long way in making sure that you earn the trust actually from the community that you're in. Number two is that absolutely to say that it's just BNM and to go out with a name like GXBank that nobody actually knew at that point in time, to introduce ourselves as a bank is a difficult one. So we took many, many months. It was actually part of our plan to really prepare and looking ahead to see how do we actually bring up our repute, our reputation, as well as credibility, actually not only with the industry, but also actually with the customers. So we did a lot of preparatory work to make sure that people recognize us as we go as a bank that's regulated by Bank Negara. And you cannot imagine, right? Actually, the amount of many things, what we call like project streams that we had, just to make sure that people recognize us, people trust us enough to actually open account with us. And I think the outcome has been fantastic. Actually, in our first 2 weeks, we got 200,000 users.
I mean, you guys grew very fast.
Yeah,
I mean,
and we were the first, right? So to your point, people ask, is that a bank or is that a wallet? We said, we're a bank, right? We're a bank. But thing is, I think enough of that preparatory work, enough of actually our teams who were very serious and I think very thoughtful on how we actually go out with the brand, how do we advertise ourselves, how do we start the bank, and and the trust can be easily lost. So once you go out, they put them in, put the monies in, and because we're a digital bank, if the foundation does not work, if we break, you lose trust not only for the bank but for the industry that we are, because we're the pioneer of digital banks. You almost actually lose trust for the entire digital bank industry. So thankfully for us, I mean, enough thoughts were gone into it, enough preparatory work, a lot of luck, right? We've been able to launch the bank extremely well, I thought.
how many users that you guys have today?
Today we've got 1.5 million users,
Okay.
right? We got our first million users in probably less than 12 months, right? That's what it did. And now we also, not only we have users who put deposits with us, we also have loads of customers who today borrow from us.
Which is the new lending products that,
our linear
that
lending
you guys
product.
have launched a couple of months back.
That's right. So we've launched actually a flexi credit product.
Yep.
It meets, I think, the needs of our users. And now we've already hit R1 billion actually in total loan book size.
Wow.
All digital loans.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Just in
and
a short,
in a short span, the short span of under 12, around 12 months,
Yeah.
that we got to actually where we are.
Wow,
And
okay.
it's all done digitally. So it's I think what it taught us is a few things actually through both our deposit as well as our digital loan flexi credit success, we call it, is that if you always actually put your customer actually in the center of your design, always actually see what type of actual needs that you are able to meet and design for, right? 3 is that be very prepared to iterate actual product to always get to the best product market fit. You will get there, and in our case, we got there in a short time. It's really actually our team. I think we just want to get to the objective of making sure that we impact the lives of the customers that we're actually serving. So today, actually, out of the entire retail credit portfolio that we get in, 50% of them are underserved customers, whom first-time borrowers.
Wow.
Right.
And that's the objective.
That's the objective,
and that's
right?
financial inclusion.
Correct.
Yeah.
First-time borrowers, right, who never actually managed to get credit from anywhere else.
Okay.
And here we are actually being able to help this group of people and actually start almost a credit history for them, right? A credit track record for them,
which they never had.
which they never had.
Yeah.
So with this, hopefully they will keep on borrowing from us, but now it also means they can actually borrow from
Other banks.
other banks,
Yes.
which previously they could not.
Correct.
So in that way, being able to be very clear what we want to deliver, I think probably goes back to your original question. How do we bring people in? How do we actually retain actually our team members? Is really actually making sure that the purpose of why we're here, objective of actually delivering a product is not only about doing business for the money and the profits, but also being able to make that impact that is different for the industry, right? And also making an impact actually for the customers whom are serving. Yeah.
Forward looking for GX Bank in Malaysia, right?
Yep.
What are the interesting stuff that you guys that will be doing in the next 6 months, 12 months, if you can share?
I can share what we're already doing. Okay. Today, like I say, we have I think a very active actually deposit base, right? And many of them are also actually saving extensively actually within our deposit accounts. We find that because we've got our main account, we've got our pockets, we find people who are putting money in actually pockets actually save 21 times actually more. So they already get savers. That's actually the first. The second is the retail credit that we spoke about, right? We call it flexi credit, which gets us into digital lending actually for all our consumers. Number three is we've also actually started SME segment.
Okay.
Yeah, where for now, for sole proprietors, they're able to, number one, open an operating account with us digitally, end to end,
Okay.
end to end, corporate account,
Yeah.
end to end. They can also borrow actually from us,
Okay.
end to end, actually digitally,
Right.
right?
And these are targeted to the businesses basically.
These are the businesses. So we already serve the businesses. And why we actually went out with that is because we know that for the average business to open an account as well as to borrow, it's been very difficult and it takes a long time to get that being served actually in the incumbent institutions that are in.
And I think you still need to go to the outlet to do a fingerprint.
Yes.
This kind of
So
process.
and like in this case, we open an account as well as approve the loan and disperse the loan actually in minutes. So this is actually one of the product that we are actively have gone out with as well as iterating to make sure that it's as perfect as it can be.
Okay. You have also managed to use AI to, I think, to cut fraud monitoring, from transactions from 15 minutes to just 60 seconds or 90 seconds. So how do you do it?
I suppose now, I mean, the fact is that AI technology is actually everywhere. So from a company top-down perspective, it's really actually to be very clear where do you want to actually focus your AI technologies in, to focus the group in, right? Because you can use, now, I mean, I use AI every day, right? You can use AI for how I write, how I present, how I think,
Yep.
and how to write codes, and all this is actually happening. But for us to actually make a sustainable impact actually at the company level is really actually being able to corral everybody to the focus that you want them to focus in to get it delivered. So, what we have done actually, we call it Freddy and Treddy. Actually, we have got, we call it in a very loving way. Actually, that's what it is. What it really actually helps us do is actually manage fraud as well as transaction monitoring cases. That's really actually all it does, right? It's not difficult, right? But what we managed to do very early, in fact, we got this done actually 1.5 years ago, is to focus the team, say, this is a big problem that we need to get it fixed. And now we've got now new models that we have to keep on iterating to make it work. So it's about focus, I think, in this case, Calvin.
Okay. Does GX Bank or the GXS Bank, do you guys, look at AI as part of a very critical element in the future when you do, whether it's products development or even internal?
No, absolutely. I think AI, by itself, AI is just an additional ways of for us to be able to build, right? So we don't see it as an end, we see it as a how. It's like how do you use AI or actually any other machine learning or any other models that you may have, right? To help us to actually deliver the outcome. Does it have to be AI? No, but would it be AI? Yes, because AI is now helping us to do so many things actually so much quicker. Now, but along with it is at the institution level is also to be very clear. Number one, like I say, focus actually on use cases. Number two is that to be able to also very structurally actually say what is the guardrails, right? Because AI can hallucinate, right?
Yep.
To be able to actually provide that guardrails that enables your team who is using those tools to be able to use it safely. Number three is that within those guardrails, it's also about when you wear the hat of business, it's about how do you manage the cost and the opportunity cost running it, right? Token cost actually goes up double, triple, 5 times, 10 times if you want it to actually go 4 times, 10 times,
Yep.
right? Then how do you then actually make sure that you give that guidance to say this is how we should actually work within with the optimized tools that you have within the budget that you get with the rules that you have to work within so that we be able to direct actually our team to the use cases that would make a difference actually to the institution we're in. And honestly, Calvin, I think that today is one of the biggest problem spaces in my mind that I'm not sure we have absolutely solved it yet. So we're still learning, right? As we new tools are actually being introduced every day, right? On AI, which to use, how to use, where to bet your monies in, who should use it, how much can one use.
Yep.
All these are actually still being experimented
It's still
actually
very
at this
fluid
moment.
as well.
It is, but it's such an interesting world, isn't it?
Yep. Yep.
It's
Yep.
so interesting because now we're in a nice pivot, I think. If we're able to actually answer that question, hopefully in the right way, we won't know until a couple of years later, right? The right way, we'll be able to make the difference actually for the businesses that we're actually running and for the people who are today actually in our organization. How do you skill them, right? In a new environment, right? So all these are, I think, like I said, it feels like almost like a once in 10 years type of questions that we need to probably answer it and answer it together. And how and which way you answer would determine actually how successful you would be in the next 5 years. So that's the I think pivotal moment. So it's another exciting time, I think.
So interestingly that you manage two bank, right? In Malaysia and also in Singapore. How different are they in terms of operating a bank in two different countries? Are they the same? How are the dynamics if you compare both businesses together?
Because actually, ultimately, the banks is actually set up to really solve actually customers' problems.
Yep.
And actually, customer problems, whether you're in Singapore,
It's the same lah.
Malaysia, in Southeast Asia, or around the world, is the same. You want to have access actually to the financial product that would best actually suit your needs. You want to be able to, you want to be able to not spend time on actually just banking because banking is never an end. It's always a how to an end, right? So how do we then actually enable customers to use the banking product, financial products that we have that enable them to live whatever ambitions they have? So that's actually the same. So in that way, whether Singapore, Malaysia, it's the same. That's number one. Number two, though, because we are actually, whilst we're in the same Southeast Asia patch, the regulations are different, right? And the standards is somewhat the same, but the prescription of how it's actually being done is actually different. So in that way, whilst it's actually the same standard, it also differs because it's actually local, actually to the
Localized lah.
regulation actually that we're in, right? But actually, ultimately, do we see a real big difference actually between Singapore, Malaysia, no,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
It's really about biggest challenge actually for any business is how do you motivate actually your team members to be aligned to the purpose that you want to actually deliver at the time that you need to actually get to, right? And that's really actually it. So every day we're just trying to solve those problems.
Okay. Where is next after Malaysia and Singapore? Where is next for GXBank?
For us, actually, as a bank group, in fact, we have an affiliate investments actually into a bank in Indonesia.
Okay. Yeah.
So we do have another third market that's actually Indonesia, where we try to standardize actually our offerings actually to the users in, like I said, dispatch. That's what we do. So that's number one. Making sure that we amalgamate and standardize actually a regional platform actually for us to be able to move a lot quicker. So that's one. Two is that we have scaled in all our markets. So in Malaysia, like we spoke about, we're
Yep.
already 1.5 million customers. In Indonesia, we're already like 6 million customers.
Wow.
In
And the bank in Indonesia, how long have they been there?
they've been there 2 years, 2.5 years, the same
Wow.
about the same like
And
Singapore,
they've got
same like Malaysia.
and we got six
6
million
million customers,
users,
6 million users,
customers. Yeah.
6 million
Okay.
users, right? They already 6 million users. So and our days of therefore actually scale is actually already there, right? Then the question is how do we provide and meet actually more of our users' needs actually through the other products. So is it lending product actually in all our three markets? Or is it an insurance product like what we have actually in Malaysia? Or an investment product that we have actually in Singapore?
Okay.
Or actually making sure that in both Singapore and Malaysia, we also serve businesses. So not only individuals as businesses. So the next stage is really about post-scaling. How do we cross-sell more? How do we get more products actually into customers' hands? Solve actually more of their problems, right? Such that we'll be able to also get a pathway actually for all the banks to be profitable, right? Because only with sustainable actual profitability can we then actually make sure that we are continuously able to actually serve the customers that we have. So that's really it. So Calvin,
So it sounds like there's no beyond there's no next country beyond Malaysia, Singapore, and of
I
course you mentioned
mean,
about Indonesia
okay,
lah.
never say never. You wouldn't know, right? You wouldn't know because we are and can actually look at different opportunities as
Okay.
it comes. But the fact is that for us, actually, over a 3 year period, we built three banks in 3 years.
That's just
Yeah, in all the 3 years
just
altogether,
crazy.
it's crazy,
That's just
right?
crazy.
Yeah, and we scaled three banks in 3 years.
Yeah.
Now it's about making sure that we get everybody actually on the path to profitability in the next 1 year.
Okay. So that's
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 what
the
we want
plan
to
lah.
be. That's what we want to be,
Okay.
right? Before we get hopefully too distracted about doing the next thing.
Fair, fair, fair.
But
You're
I
right.
must say that we are actually a group of people who are very open minded. So when an opportunity comes, I'm sure we'll be actually looking at it very, very seriously.
Okay, okay. Lastly, Pei Si, for the young women, who are considering careers in fintech
Right.
AI, what's your advice to them? What would you be speaking to them?
I think it's both young women or young men, right? That we should look at their next career, whether it's at fintech or non-tech or technology, is that it will always actually be a learning. Should take it as actually a learning step because that's where you actually gain the most credit and most knowledge, right? As you actually progress actually in your career. Number two is that I come from because I like worked for 30 years, right? So I stayed in one institution actually for 23 years. That's what I did. So there's important advice I like give to actually young people as well is that there's value to stay in a certain place to master the art and the science. So because folks are impatient, right?
Yep.
So I tell actually any new entrance actually into the workforce. I tell that to my children as well, is that when you pick up actually a commitment, give yourself whether is it Some folks could be 3 years, some folks could be 5. But in that 3 years, in my case, I always took 3. 3 years, put your head down after you decide that that's the case and work on it and to make sure you master it without actually looking outside. Because if there's too much noise, actually as you get distracted,
Distraction.
you don't get to master actually what you're supposed to be committed to. Because in that 3 years or 5 years is where you take you give back actually to the organization that you work for, but that's where you actually learn. So therefore, really, actually, in summary, is this: young folks actually out there, men or women, be very clear that things are moving very quickly. Be very, very willing to actually learn and you don't you need to ask for things for you to learn. Nobody's going to give it to you. So you take take the initiative to learn actually all you can. Number 2 is be patient, put your head down during that period, master the art, and then after that, you look around and see what's the next thing you want to do.
You know, whenever I tell people this, right, during interviews, people always say you're very old school thinking.
No, okay, maybe it is, but
when I tell people this,
Yes.
it's the same principle with you. You know that you have to be patient and master as well.
Yes.
Then people look at me and say, "You're very old school, things move very fast and you're very old school thinking." That's what I always get when I tell people that. And these are the younger people.
I agree.
You see?
And actually, if there's one last thing that we should do is that, when you sign up for something, you think your scope is like that, right?
Yeah.
But actually, what we now know, at least in my last 5 years, I know now the scope is like it can be anything. So to be able to adapt, to be willing to learn actually different things is such an important next step for you to gain your mastery, right? As one goes back, right? And that's probably the few things that one should look at.
Younger people sometimes nowadays, I think they, like I said, patience. Like, people tend to be very impatient. It's like 1 year, I've learned everything. So I want to move on.
Yeah, but actually, having said that, though, and I deal with lots of young people, and like I said, my children are all actually now tertiary education type of like age group, right? I find the young people of today, it's amazing actually on the kind of knowledge as
Yep.
well as
Very intelligent.
the capability and the competence that he can bring to the table.
Fair.
So I've always been kind of very, very much gender blind, right, in how I actually deal with everybody. Now I'm completely age blind, right? Because everybody brings so much value actually to the table, right? Regardless of gender, regardless of age, regardless of experience. It becomes so meaningful. I'm constantly actually astounded actually by how clever actually our people are, right? And how much I'm learning actually from them every day. So it's quite amazing.
Thanks, Pei Si. I think it's a very nice session to actually hear about your background and your experience, being in the banking industry for so long and moving into a fintech environment where or a digital bank that is moving so much and so much excitement as well. Truly, thank you for coming here and having this session with us. We hope to be able to have a second session with you when time permits.
Right.
And we'll hope to also see, there's more action from GXBank in Malaysia and also in Singapore in the next few months with new products, new stuff that you guys are doing.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. So next time when we've got new products, I'll come and ask for another another session so we can talk about it, okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks, Pei Si.
All right.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks.